had been married to Lila for over 10 years, and in that time, I thought I knew her completely. We had shared laughter, struggles, and countless quiet nights together. But one evening, everything I believed about us was thrown into chaos with a single, brazen statement. It all began on a Friday night. We had returned from dinner, the city lights flickering through our apartment windows. Lila seemed unusually distant, scrolling through her phone and barely speaking. I tried to engage her in conversation, asking about her day, her work, even the small moments that normally brought her to life. She responded with monosyllables, avoiding my eyes. Finally, frustration got the better of me. "Lila, what's going on? You've been like this all evening," I said, trying to keep my tone calm but firm. She put her phone down and looked at me, her expression almost daring. "You know, I've been thinking," she said slowly, as if carefully choosing her words. "I could replace you in a day." The words hit me like a thunderclap. My heart stuttered, my mind raced, and for a moment, I couldn't even speak. Replace me? After all these years, the shared life, the love, the memories, it was inconceivable that she would say such a thing. "Excuse me?" I finally managed, my voice tighter than I intended. I said, "I could find someone else. Someone better. Someone who doesn't make the same mistakes you do," she said, her tone flat, almost clinical. "Honestly, I could replace you, and you wouldn't even notice until it was too late." A surge of disbelief and anger welled up inside me. I wanted to argue, to beg her to reconsider, to remind her of everything we had built together. But then, amid the whirlwind of emotion, something strange happened. I realized I didn't need to beg. I didn't need to fight for validation. I didn't need her approval to assert my worth. I took a deep breath, letting the silence stretch between us. Lila looked at me, her eyes searching mine, expecting perhaps a display of hurt, pleading, or fury. Instead, I smiled, not mockingly, but with calm confidence. "Is that so?" I said quietly. "You think you could replace me in a day?" She nodded, her lips pressed tightly together, a hint of defiance in her posture. "Well," I continued, pacing slightly to gather my thoughts, "let me tell you something. If you're that confident, let's put it to the test." Her eyebrows shot up. "A test? What do you mean?" "I mean that if you truly believe it would be that easy, then go ahead. See what happens when I step back. See if it's really as simple as you think." Because replacing someone isn't just about being physically present. It's about trust, history, intimacy, understanding, and shared life. You can't replicate years of connection with a stranger overnight. Her expression faltered slightly, though she tried to mask it. "That's not fair," she said. "Fair?" I echoed, shaking my head. Life isn't about fairness. It's about choices. And right now, you're choosing to underestimate the depth of what we have. So go ahead, try. Test your theory. But don't be surprised when reality proves differently. She opened her mouth to reply, but no words came. For the first time, I saw uncertainty flicker across her face, a crack in the armor of her bravado. I didn't need to say more. My calm, measured confidence said it all. I knew my worth. I understood the life we had built, and I would not be diminished by a casual threat. The next few days were a revelation. I gave her space to explore whatever thoughts had led her to believe she could replace me. And in doing so, I watched as her confidence wavered. She realized, quietly, that replacing someone isn't about finding a body that fits a routine. It's about finding a soul that matches the life shared over years, with all its imperfections, laughter, and scars. During that time, I focused on myself. I went to the gym, reconnected with old friends, and pursued projects I had long neglected. I felt the power of reclaiming my time and my life. And more importantly, I felt the empowerment that comes from self-respect, the kind that no one can take away with empty words. When Lila returned to me, she did so with a different attitude. There was no apology, no dramatic confession, just a quiet acknowledgement that some things aren't easily replaced. She had seen firsthand that the life we share isn't a collection of conveniences. It's a mosaic of experiences, memories, and emotional bonds that take years to build and cannot be duplicated at will. I met her gaze, calmly and firmly, and said, "You wanted to see if you could replace me. Now you know. Some things aren't replaceable. Not in a day. Not ever." Her lips trembled slightly, but she didn't speak. The lesson had been learned in silence, and I let it stay that way. Over time, our relationship shifted. There was tension, yes, but also a newfound respect. She began to understand the depth of what I offered, not just as a partner, but as someone who valued himself enough to assert his worth. And I began to understand that true strength in a relationship isn't about control or dominance, it's about boundaries, self-respect, and the ability to let others see your value without demanding it. Looking back, I realized that her audacious statement, her challenge, was the catalyst I didn't know I needed. It forced me to confront the complacency I hadn't realized had crept into our marriage. It forced me to assert my value, to define myself on my own terms. And in doing so, it transformed how I saw myself, how I interacted with her, and how I approached every relationship in my life. There's power in calmness, in measured response, and in unwavering confidence. When someone underestimates you, when they throw a challenge meant to provoke insecurity, the most shocking and effective response isn't anger or pleading, it's quiet certainty. It's demonstrating, through your actions and presence, that your value cannot be replicated or replaced on a whim. Lila never forgot that moment. Not because I shouted, cried, or begged, but because I showed her, without theatrics, that my worth was undeniable. The shock on her face wasn't just from my words, it was from the realization that I could stand firm, unshaken, and that I could define my place in our life without needing validation from anyone else. In the end, we didn't just survive that challenge, we grew from it. Our marriage gained a new dimension of respect and understanding, one built not just on love, but on the knowledge that each of us brings something irreplaceable to the relationship. And I learned a lesson that has stayed with me ever since. You cannot be replaced, because your essence, the sum of your experiences. Loyalty, love, and resilience is unique, and anyone who underestimates it will always be stunned by the reality